What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 233 of Littleroot Lessons. This is weird because we're recording on a Monday instead of a Sunday, and we're just all sorts of out of it right now.
I'm surprised
I am joined by my lovely...
didn't get messages saying, "Hey, where's the podcast episode?"
Because our listeners are smart and realize that we went and said, "Hey, we're doing this last week."
Oh, did you?
And,
our listeners listen to us.
I don't know you, so...
No, we know that. But yeah, so we're doing this on a Monday because Worlds wrapped up a little after midnight Eastern, and I was a tired boy.
I was fighting a flash flood typhoon in my backyard until 3 a.m., so I, could not have recorded a podcast at that point.
Yeah, Carter, what were you doing?
I had my fantasy football draft last night.
Oh yeah, we did. Well, I was going to say
all
after
did.
that. Yeah,
that
we
was,
all
that
did.
was a good time.
Jay yelled at me for screwing it up.
I was very upset when my third pick in the rookie draft was not there.
The worst part is I'm like, everything looks good, right? And Noah and I both checked it over and everything because he's just in the other room. He's like, yeah, it looks good, and so I fired it. And it wasn't until after the pick happened, you're like, hey, this is wrong. I'm like.
It was actually, it was after the first pick, not the third
I
pick.
thought it was right
already...
after the third.
Yeah, it started going really quick because the first 3 to 5 picks are pretty
especially for
the
rookies.
Part.
I had mine locked and loaded. I already told Carter that I was going to commit a thing that you can't do.
We're still in the first 5 minutes. You can't say anything yet.
I was going to say a thing that you can't do. If I did not get Caleb Williams with my pick.
I was very happy to get Roma Dunze. I was happy to pick him up. I think that, there's a long time connection there. And my wide receiver room, besides my first, 3 guys, is not the greatest. But then I also picked up Troy Franklin later on. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I was looking at it. My
that.
Quarterbacks are, good for the next 6 decades. I have...
same.
Yeah, it's true. I have C.J. Stroud, I have T. Law, and then I have Drake May, who I'm really hoping does something with his life.
I think I think May's good. I think I'm high on him. He was my QB2 in this class.
Well, everything coming out of preseason's hey, May has looked way better than we anticipated, so...
Yeah, he's going to be fine.
I've also heard that Joe Milton has been really good.
So
Are we officially back to being a football podcast?
I mean, it's close enough.
It's in season, baby.
There's nothing like a Littleroot Lessons podcast where after this, I'm just excited to not talk about Regulation G until next year.
I won't talk about it then either.
I know. But yeah, I think it's very fitting that it's Worlds and we're talking about football because you're right. It's late summer, early fall. We're late summer. We're in season.
This is what the Worlds episode is. It's just us talking about football.
Let's grade our fantasy drafts. All right, we're not going to talk about Worlds.
That could be a specialty episode we do later.
A Pokemon one. That's great. Take your pick on which Pokemon won. If you said Urshifu, you're right.
If you said Ironhands, you're right.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
you're wrong.
I think we're still in the first 5 minutes.
No, we are not.
All right, good enough. We talked about football enough to cover for Jay dropping an F-bomb.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. So that is, the first crazy thing. This is the first year where Intimidate Incineroar was legal that it didn't win, and in doing so, Incineroar also failed to become the first 4-time Worlds winner. And with
barely even top 8. Just saying. That's crazy.
Actually, we can just get right to it. We have the lab mouse up and ready.
Shout
out to Tim. And yeah, we have everything, even usage-wise. So Incineroar was only 4th in usage, behind Raging Bolt, Rillaboom, and Urshifu Rapid Strike. Urshifu Rapid Strike on almost, well over half the teams. 57.64 usage percentage is just absolutely crazy. And then if you look at day 2 usage, day 2, Farigiraf, the People's Champion, surpassed Incineroar, who was also barely ahead of Ironhands in terms of usage. So this top 3 here, very splashable. All of these Pokemon can be used on pretty much any team. Rillaboom and Raging Bolt, of course. don't really synergize well with the restricted that inevitably won. But Rapid Striker Shifu can be on literally everything. And really, Farigiraf was on a lot. I'd say for Farigiraf and then Iron Hands, talking about the non-restricted Pokemon that were the stories of the season. It is, and at least Worlds, it's these two.
Yeah, Iron Hands has won every single World Championships that it's been legal in.
That's
yep,
insane.
2 for 2. Yeah, 2 for 2.
Nuts.
That's such a wild statistic.
Nuts.
Yeah. Going down to the restricted Mons, it kind of fell initially where we thought Calyrex Shadow, Calyrex Ice, and Miraidon being the the main restricteds. It's what Jay and I expected last week. The surprise, to an extent, is when you look at restricteds 4 and 5, Zamazenta and Terapagos, 2 restricted Pokemon that were doing very well in the early half of the format, probably through NAIC, and then during this ramp up to Worlds post NAIC, 2 Pokemon that we really weren't seeing a lot of. It seems the people who cooked with Terapagos did cook up a new variant of the team, really relying on that lefty setup version with just good stuffs around it, while Zamazenta has a lot of strong players and acolytes that really brought it far.
To comment on that,
Angelo and I said last week that if Zamazenta won, it was going to be in the hands of a Michael.
Yeah,
and came really close.
Yep. No, it was very close. Top 4. And we can actually just dive into the teams right now. First of all, Viva Italia. Congratulations to Luca Ceribelli. And congratulations to me and Carl for guessing the proper restricted Pokemon. Actually, before we dive into these top 8...
say?
Calyrex Shadow, who won seniors, so I still was kind of right.
I was going to say...
Mine was at least in finals, so...
and Calyrex Ice won juniors. So technically,
all three of us are geniuses, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. All 3 of us picked, all 3 of us picked the 3 best restricted Pokemon to win.
I love how it's just like, hey, we basically rolled a dice to determine what we were going to pick.
Pick a restricted with a $90 funny button, you might win. You might have a chance.
My restricted has a $60 funny button, because it's just the price of the game. I think one of the things to note with the top 8, though, is that Calyrex Shadow did not cut, which, for a Pokemon that was the number 1 Pokemon restricted in day 1, number 1 in usage in day 2, just a little ahead of Calyrex Ice. For Calyrex Ice to have 3 Pokemon, or 3 spots in the top 8, and for Calyrex Shadow to have 0, and we do see a Calyrex Shadow here in 10th as the top CSR, but there's a Zamazenta and 2 Terapagos ahead of the first CSR. So I think we're kind of at the point, to an extent, we were at the beginning of the season, where Calyrex Shadow's so good that everyone's now throwing on so much hate and developing so many lines into it that now, when we return to Regulation G in January, the CSR teams probably have to just come in with another version of themselves. We've seen the Terra Dark on the Farigiraf, which was a new thing to make sure that you almost guarantee your foul plays Oko. We saw a lot of Terra Normal this weekend as well. As you could see here, in day 2, Terra Normal was the 6th most common Terra type on 7.23% of Pokemon.
Wild.
So, people were really going in and saying, I'm not losing to CSR this weekend. I'll figure out the other matchups, but I'm not losing to that horse.
It's okay, I'll lose to Iron Hands instead.
Exactly. That's what they did. Let's dive right into Luca's team right here. I love this team. I had 4 of the 6 in the builder, actually used them in a Premier Challenge back in late May of this year and top cut with it, and then dropped it for some reason like an idiot.
Your words are thoughts.
No, literally. So Chris also was using this team with me. He won a PC with it, and initially after Indy, we were like, yeah, Miraidon, one of Miraidon's best partners is clearly Ogerpon Heartflame, and then we just stopped using it. Ogerpon Heartflame and Specs Miraidon, there's so much immediate pressure and immediate damage that comes out from this duo that even the Pokemon that resist it don't really resist it. This duo up here is the definition of screw your damage calculator. And you really saw it in the final set with Luca. Jay, I know you and I were texting in our group chat yesterday where you said he's like, Yuta is literally spent a day to prep and he's trying hard leads because
his best was hard reads.
Yeah.
Not to sound like a hater, but I think that if you have 24 hours and the best thing that you can cook up for your game one plan is to Helping Hand Sludge Bomb into Miraidon, expecting a Terra Fairy, I think that you need to maybe rethink how you play Pokemon. I know he came in second, but like, come on now. Like,
well,
I think
I think it was Angela who also said that like after like spending multiple hours or whatever testing the matchup, they just came to the conclusion that like it's a terrible matchup. That's the way they're kind of had to play.
So it wasn't Yuta.
Okay,
it was
gotcha.
it was special event champion Tio tweeted out that Tio and a few of their friends ran the matchup, and they said it's like, we think Luca's favored. And one of the things that I initially noticed, and we can just pull up Yuta's team as well and just quickly share that. One of the things when I was testing Miraidon plus Fire type, especially Fire Pawn, in the Calyrex Ice matchup, the Terra type on the Calyrex really mattered. Terra Fire Calyrex is an absolute pain for these Miraidon plus Fire type teams, while Water and Grass are a lot easier because if you're running Terra Water, you're going to Terra into my Miraidon, and if you're Terra Grass, you can't get rid of my Fire type. The only Pokemon on this team that is able to survive either a Ivy Cudgel or Woodhammer from Luca's Ogerpon is the Urshifu because of its item. Everything else just gets you can't Terra out your fire weakness. The Ivy Cudgel picks up. Amoonguss could go Terra Fire, but like whatever. Iron Valiant can't get out of it. Lando can't get out of it. Like Pelipper can't really get out of it. And that was one of the things I noted, and I was saying to people yesterday when I was talking about the matchup, is this Ogerpon does so much into Yuta's team that if left unchecked, it could run through it. And I had a few people, it's like, oh no, you just positioned well. I'm like, buddy, you think Yuta's the only one allowed to position his Pokemon and not Luca?
True.
and that's what happened. Game 2 and Game 3, Ogerpon, whether it was the damage you could put out or the follow me, that it was able to just keep the Miraidon safe. That redirection was absolutely massive in terms of the amount of pressure that was put on. What are some of the other things you guys like about Luca's team before we dive into Yuta's? I think there's a couple things to note.
I've been saying it since I think we did our tier list on the Reg G, like midway through, that Whimsicott is the best Tailwind setter in this format.
Big agree.
And it really showed. Tornadus was almost nowhere to be found across the board here. Whimsicott was everywhere.
It's also
the
been
ability
that way
to have
for a hot minute at this point too. So like,
yeah, no, it's. But
I've been saying this for months. Though.
I also still agree with it though. Like I've always
having the ability to click Encore, to click Light Screen, and Tailwind are all fantastic. You put the Covert Cloak on this thing, you can't fake it out. I really love that portion of the team. I also have to send my apology to all the Terra Fairy and Miraidon users. I've been talking trash on Terra Fairy and Miraidon since probably around the same time. I'm like, why are you not just running Terra Electric? Here it is, it won. And it was very, very popular with the Dazzling Gleams. And it was very essential in Luca's run. A couple of the games, just watching it click Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleams, and just do like 60% to a Slawfest Iron Hands is crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. I was also with you, and then I used Terra Fairy Miraidon, and it's one of those things where on paper you're like, we saw this before, this is bad, then you use it and you're like, oh no, this is good.
I think we normally see it with like the assault vest, and I know one of the teams in top 16, top 8 had it, but like implementing the choice specs onto this variant was really essential in Luca's run. I also don't play Pokemon anymore, guys. Like, if you haven't noticed, I stink at this game nowadays.
You don't stink.
Wouldn't go that far.
So like,
you have bigger things going on.
Just take everything I say with a grain of salt sometimes. Like, I'm right a lot of the time, but I'm also wrong, like, some of the time.
Yeah, but who remembers the times you're wrong?
You guys.
That's besides the point.
Going forward, like, one of the other things, I think everyone just had amnesia or just didn't realize Iron Hands got low kick.
Yeah,
until everyone realized it at the same time. Yeah.
Iron Hands uses its feet.
Yep, Iron Feet. And yes, so the Terra Bug Iron Hands, we saw a lot of different Terra types on Iron Hands. Terra Bug, to get rid of the ground type weakness, is phenomenal. And yeah, like, in a restricted format, moves that are weight-based are super powerful because of how heavy all these restricted Pokemon are. Low kick, on average, can get up to, like, low kick, I wouldn't say on average, but more times than not, low kick can get up to that base 100, base 120 power, and that could be a close combat button without the -1, like the minuses to defense on as a downside. So that's, I think, again, when we return to this format, I think that the low kick on Iron Hands is going to be something that people actually know about now, and it's going to be something that a lot more people are going to be running, which is pretty interesting to see how that goes. Anything else on Luca's team before we dive a little more into Yuta's?
Psychic Noise is cool.
And
I really like
the Terra
Noise.
Water is awesome on the Fergraph here too.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to run that Terra Ground anymore because of the discharge stuff. You now get to run a really great defensive typing on it. Psychic Noise is really cool too, though.
I love Psychic Noise. It's against certain archetypes, like well, at first you're able to stop the Amoonguss from its regenerator going off. You're able to, I'm not sure how it works into Pollen Puff, whether I think it's the Pokemon can't be targeted by Pollen Puff. That'll fail.
That's cool. That would make sense because that's the Pokemon that's healing.
Yeah, but it stops grassy even just the simple things of I'm stopping grassy terrain healing and I'm starting lefties. Like in PC in a league challenge I played in, I was up against a Terapagos team with leftovers, and I just kept on clicking Psychic Noise into the Terapagos, and you just whittle it down, and it's like the Terra Shell's not going off again because I'm just stopping it from healing, and I'll ignore you since you can't heal, and at some point I'll get to you when the game's over. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. And Ogerpon Hearthflame was like a star of this tournament.
Yeah.
Like, it was absolutely fantastic. The ability to go on the offensive with your Terra Fire Ivy Cudgels and Woodhammers is just outrageous, but then you can also pair that with like the defensive idea of clicking Follow Me and not using your Terra and just being and even when you do, like, you're able to just click that Follow Me and be around, protect your Miraidon, protect your Urshifu, your Iron Hands. Like, Ogerpon, I think, was the true star of this entire tournament.
I've said for a long time that Fire Pawn is my favorite Ogerpon. Like, I feel justified in picking that.
No, you are on the record for a while. I personally, I like Water Pond more because I like the way it plays, but for this format and this tournament, Heartflame was definitely like the Ogerpon. But we did see on some of these other teams, a few of them that we'll get to, it was just not just for Fire Pond, it was just a really good weekend for Ogerpon. One of the things, Chris sent this to me yesterday, one of the things that he's found in like playing Regulation H is that when you take Ogerpon away, all of a sudden it feels like there's no grass types in the format.
Yeah, it's literally Rillaboom.
Amoonguss.
I mean, even still, it's just, yeah, but like Whimsicott's also never clicking a grass type move,
and neither is
and like Amoonguss is clicking Spore, and like
Spore is a grass type move,
but like it's not a damage dealing grass type move.
Might as well be. I am a Cornerstone fan because it won me a UDL title, but Ogerpon Hearthflame did take me to 10-1 in UDL this season.
Yeah.
And then I lost in the first round.
Hell yeah. Proud of you, buddy.
Shit happens. Going to the team that doesn't have Ogerpon, Yuta Ishigaki. There, I can read. This is a new take on the Pelipper, on the Calyrex Ice Rain variant. You have the Pelipper, you have the Calyrex Ice, you have the Waterfoo, you have the Amoonguss, and the last two spots are the real big changes. If you told me Iron Valiant was going to finish in Worlds, Finals and Worlds, I would have said, did Smogon take over and we're playing singles?
If you told me that I was going to day 2 in Worlds, I think I probably would have been like, all right, like, no, you're crazy, go to rehab.
Jay is on one tonight.
Brother, I'm 3 surf sites in, of course I'm on one.
Yeah, it's, again, a special Monday.
Special Monday, baby.
Yeah, so what's nice with, especially with the booster energy and the Quark Drive, is that against Miraidon teams, this was something that Luca had to deal with. The Iron Valiant is faster than Miraidon, and that Spirit Break is super threatening. It forces the Terra out of you because it's going to pick up the KO more often than not. Or at least do a significant amount of damage into you where you're just in threat of any other chip coming your way.
Unless you have an Ogerpon Hearthflame next to you.
Yep. The Wide Guard stops the ability of all of these expensive spread moves that are in the format. Encore's great. Coaching's honestly awesome. We saw, especially because coaching cannot be redirected, we did see a play yesterday where in turn 1 of game 3, Yuta made the call that Luca was going to follow me, and he clicked coaching to get his Calyrex at +1/+1 to try to get some damage going. With that being said, if Luca just clicked, like, if Luca got really greedy and just clicked, like, Electro Drift into Valiant and then Terrifier, Ivy Cudgel into Calyrex, he also wins turn 1. But like that's also just a very, very aggressive, greedy play that you kind of can't make. You shouldn't make when you're playing Game 3 of the World's Finals. But that was in the back of my head. I'm like, wow, he had the port, like that play was there, or at least it would have been able to be made. He won convincingly regardless.
Yeah, he had that Furgraph in the back. I'm honestly like, I'm gonna sound like a smack talker here, big time. But
that's all
like,
you've been all episode. Continue.
I have, yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and just be wild today. Like Yuta's prep for that finals match was just, it felt so poor. Like I think that there was just so many better plays that Yuta could have made. And I know I'm not sitting in that chair. I'm not in the World's Finals. I know I'm not there. I know I'm just a spectator from a separate point of view from my own chair at home. But like, you have 24 hours to prep for this matchup. And the best that Yuta could come up with in 2 games, it wasn't just once, it was twice, was I'm going to make a hard read that gets automatically stopped by a change, a switch, a non-Terra, or a follow me from Ogerpon. I don't know how he gets to that point.
Yeah, like that was the thing. And the Terra Ghosts on the Landorus on the Landorus Incarnate, with the Choice Scarf, it's a very, like, that Terra right there is an interesting adaptation. You can't safely fake out into the Landorus as long as Terra is active. This is another one thing. So everyone's like, oh, he has this Choice Scarf Landorus. Choice Scarf Landorus is so good into Miraidon.
I mean, I literally said that. Like,
I also don't think...
I think if he clicks Sandsteer Storm plus Hurricane on turn 1, like, you lose your Landorus, but I think you're in a much better position.
Literally, word for word, the play I described to Angelo.
And this is also as someone who's played enough Miraidon, I have never lost to a Choice Scarf Landorus. I've always beaten it with Miraidon.
Well, not all of us are that good, Angelo.
I'm not saying
I've
I'm
also
great,
literally
but
played 0 games with Miraidon.
I was going to say, you also don't play. Yeah.
Me and Carter, we don't play.
Hell yeah, brother.
Right?
Well, Carter's been playing.
I haven't played in like 2 weeks.
Not this format, though.
I haven't played anything in like 2 weeks.
Well, I played for the first time. I was in a Limitless tour yesterday. But we can talk about that. Probably not, because I went 3-2 and dropped. Yeah, and everything else with this team, I think the Life Orb Pelipper with no Protect, just making sure you have like the Helping Hand and the damage output with Weather Ball and Hurricane. We are seeing offensive Pelipper or a more offensive Pelipper pop up in Regulation H. A lot of them are Stellar Terra to get that
in H?
Boost to the offense. Yeah.
Most of them I ran into are Ghost.
It's the past weekend, everything's been Stellar Terra. It's a very new thing because Stellar Terra Weather Ball can Oko Blood Moon even after they Terra.
Okay.
So
I don't play Pokemon, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
So Terra, it's this new ability they added to make it where you can change your type.
So like, could you turn Orthworm to Fire type?
You could.
I think you can. Yeah.
Why?
You know, I don't know, but like I remember there was a format where like Urshifu wasn't legal, and like that was actually kind of good.
Yeah. Going from one body pressing steel type to another.
Yeah.
No,
you said steel type, right?
Yeah.
Angelo, you were never living down what you said at the beginning of the Regulation E.
The end. You know what? You can listen.
Keep talking.
That's fair. I think outside of that one weekend, I was still right for the regulation. I
was holding this one in all weekend long. Like I wanted him to make finals so bad, not only because I like Kelsh, but also because I was like, Angelo. Look at this juicy little fire type dog over here. Like,
but you know, it's not good.
This is a B tier Pokemon. This has this isn't going to contribute to your team. It's just an extreme speed spammer.
The Jay is doing right now is just the cable team people from South Park.
Hey guys, it's Entei with Choice Band, Inner Focus, Terra Normal. It's not that good. It's not. It's B tier. Alright, it's trash. Pick up something else.
Angelo's so upset right now. I love it.
Speechless.
I love it. For the first time in his life, he's quiet.
I'm going to cry after this.
You can do it now. That's fine. We'll make fun of you for that too.
I succeeded in life. I made him cry.
The Terra Normal Entei, as we were saying, a lot of Mons picking up this Terra Normal as a way to hinder Calyrex Shadow Rider. The fact that Kelsh had it not only defensively for the Entei, but offensively to threaten the CSR's partner with these banded extreme speeds, or to even punish CSR with once it's Terra'd, is really great. The Terra Dragon on Zamazenta as well is another great choice of Terra on this team to be like a lot of Fire, Water, Grass cores, a lot of electric type damage from the Raging Bolt and the Iron Hands that were in this going around to say, yeah, I have to play the game with Draco Meteor. I have to deal with and like against Calyrex, if I get out of position in Terra, I'm screwed, but it's like just a really great Terra in a format that really doesn't have too much fairy coverage outside of the Flutter Mane, which Kelsh also had in his team. And in the grand scheme of things, even, Flutter Mane wasn't really that common of a Mon.
Terra Fairy Miraidon.
yeah, Terra Fairy Miraidon is the real one that you're worrying about, and you have like, so Fluttermane was still top 12 in usage at a little under 20% for day 2. But yeah, it's just an unbelievable defensive typing, goes really well, and Kelch also had the wide guard instead of the iron defense on his Zamazenta. Wide guard really allowing, whether it's the Entei, the Chien-Pao, honestly, all of the other Pokemon on this team can put out a lot of damage, while the wide guard can keep them safe. One of the things I really like, I love the Goggles Rapid Strike.
I
One
love
of the biggest
this Protect Rapid Strike. That's the part I love here.
Yeah.
It's not running Detect.
I'm sorry, I meant sub. I said Protect, I meant sub.
No, the sub is great as well. One of the big issues that Zamazenta has, and we kind of saw it in the top 4 matchup where Kelch was knocked out, Zamazenta has a horrific matchup into Amoonguss, and you can see it here. Sacred Fire Zokoing Amoonguss. You have the Goggles on Rapid Strike here. You have the Rillaboom here. You have the Terragrass on your Fluttermane. So if you bring Flutter, Rilla, Ursh, and like Zama, and you Terragrass, and like Flutter becomes your Terra target, you have 3 different Pokemon that can switch into Spores, which is super, super useful going into Amoonguss.
Yeah, and then you also have POW just to do extra damage there.
Yeah.
This team is really cool. There's a ton of Amoonguss hate here. Who would have thought that a Terra Normal E-Speeder next to Chien-Pao is really good? Not Angelo, obviously.
Especially one that's immune to Fake Out. Can't forget that.
That too, yeah.
Angelo, do you have any comments on exactly, like the kind of Pokemon we're trying to describe here?
Moving on to Song Jae Jong's team.
Michael Kelch clicked E-Speed in Psychic Terrain twice and still won the match.
Hell yeah.
Just so you guys know. Also, can we stop letting singles players run the VGC scene?
Michael Kelch is not a VGC player. He is a Randats player.
Yeah, speaking of Randats, all right, it's really good for the soul.
Dude, I love me some Randats.
Give me some double Randats, all right? I was top 100 in the world for a fat minute, so
my go.
Get back to grinding. Could be top 50.
That
he has other things to do.
I've got non-interest to do. So
lame.
Yeah,
I know. It's okay.
Quickly going over Song Jae Jong's team. Really, it's the same exact 6 Pokedex numbers as Luca's team. It's just the really only difference is a few of the Terra types, namely Terra Grass and Iron Hands instead of Bug, and Terra Water on the Whims. And his Urshifu is the Sash Dark Fu instead of the Water Fu. Dark Fu just goes with that super aggro hyper offense that the Miraidon and Ogerpon are already providing, and putting it in Tailwind makes it even stronger. Moving on to a very interesting team here. This is a hard Trick Room team. Diego Ferreira in 5th place. Really going deep into the Terra Dragon Calyrex Ice, like Torkoal and Didi, Gallade, hard Trick Room mode. I really liked the Imprison on the Calyrex here.
Yeah, if you notice, there's only one Protect on this entire team. That's because most of the time you're just trying to click your big strong buttons under Trick Room and get through it. Diego almost always led Ogerpon Wellspring and Calyrex Ice, at least in the stream matchups we saw. I wouldn't be surprised if that was just, this is what we're doing every single game, and like this is how we're gonna play it. And yeah, this team was really fun to watch. This team it has a lot of really great options. It has the wide guard on the Gallade, so you can have the better matchup in the Calyrex Shadow and into other Calyrex Ice. Ursaluna was really impactful in a lot of the games I saw on stream for Diego. Indeedee with like no attack is a little.
It's weird.
Weird for sure. Like the heal pulse was great. We didn't really get to see it too much in what we were watching in the stream games. He did try to pull off the play a couple of times, and it didn't work out for him. But I'm a hard Trick Room fan. I love this archetype.
I didn't realize we had Bruno on the cast tonight. Talking about Orthworm earlier, we got Hard Trick Room now.
Listen,
I mean, they're in the same cult. Like,
Bruno's been copying my flow for God knows how long. I'm the OG. I'm him. All right. Yeah. I can say I got a result at one point in my life.
and we also saw it happen on stream. We can go on YouTube and watch it.
No shade to Bruno. That's my boy.
Bruno so
but
I feel like I
shout out
bring him up
Bruno.
literally every episode I'm on.
I think we do, but
yeah.
I'm him. I'm Himothy. All right. It's okay. Bruno still plays Pokemon, and he would probably.
Pretty sure Bruno was at Worlds.
Yeah,
Bruno would curb stop me.
We can arrange that.
I'll
reach out to him right now.
I think I'm okay. Unless he physically wants to curb stomp me.
I mean, yeah. What do you think I was
in real life?
No, that's what we mean.
I thought you meant Pokemon, which in
Jay,
that case
I'm
going to pass.
You're at
If this is real life we're talking about, Bruno, hit my line, brother. All right, we can set this up. I know you're in Florida, Georgia area, which is down south.
Oh, so when you say two states are basically the same.
Well, that's just the general area.
They are down south, and also he's a Miami Dolphins fan.
Yeah, but for me to say, New York is New England, I get flamed
because it's completely. Yeah, because it's
wrong,
you
not.
idiot.
Florida and Georgia are both the South, and they are right around each other. They are southern states. They broke away during the Confederacy.
I would not classify Florida as a southern state. I know it's in the South.
Florida is the most southern state of all of them.
I know it is, but when I hear southern state,
let's do it live.
I don't think Florida.
What do you think?
Louisiana, Georgia,
You mean the states literally
Florida is more south than any of these states.
Me,
that also
in my head, when I hear southern state, I don't think Florida. I can't explain it.
It's because you're from the Midwest, which is also the South. So
no,
it's okay.
No, we're in the middle, which is also evidently West.
Honestly, Florida's not going to exist in 20 years because it's going to be eaten up by the ocean. And to that I say, thank God.
Torkoal is doing its job in
this
Florida.
This is a weird episode, guys.
Okay? It's setting the drought in Florida. How is this our Worlds episode, okay?
What do you think our listeners expect this? They love this from us because we are the fun.
This is supposed to be the most important episode of our season, and here we are. I
don't think so.
We talked about football for 10 minutes, and now we're talking about Florida.
I don't know what we're going to talk about.
I always think that the ICs are just more impactful because, again, one of the things is, as we're going through these teams, no one's playing the only people who are playing Regulation G at this point are the people just showing up at their locals to have fun because you have to run Reg G until September 1st. For sanctioned events, and the people who are at Worlds. Everyone else is on Regulation H.
Also, we're all not very good at the game, so we're not making.
I think we're kind of. I think we're all decent. Jay and I have results. Mine was 2 years ago, but I still have
Angelo's going to make
Worlds. This podcast.
Angelo's going to make Worlds, and it's going to be awesome. And
I'm not going to make Worlds once again. I might go to Worlds.
Brother, trust.
Yeah.
Right?
He's not playing in anything. How is he going to qualify for Worlds?
Yeah,
he's played. He played in the Rhode Island local last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was.
If you win Rhode Island locals, you can qualify for Worlds.
Didn't Angelo come into the chat after that and say he was a quarter of his way through his invite?
for the New England Invitational.
Very different.
Which is pretty much my world.
I got all tricksy here. You pulled a fast one on me. I am.
Jay was sober during that conversation.
Yeah, he was, and that's why he forgot.
I'm never sober. Okay, just deal with it.
I'll just move because we talked about the Trick Room. This is the better, not for this tournament, but in general, the better choice. Why are you multi-scale?
So you...
Never mind, I was going to say something.
It allowed him to live a Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. Do you want to talk more trash about Entei?
I was going to...
Angelo?
I was, and I just lost it because I was thrown off by the multi-scale.
Also, you know it finished below the Entei, right?
It did finish below the...
It was, it's still... by the data, worse.
Yeah.
It is worse. I agree.
So the main difference with this Miraidon team compared to the other two, I'm just going to move through this, is it's honestly has like a 2-2-2 sort of feel with like the Chi-Yu plus either Miraidon Goldengo, the Dozogiri, and the Banded Dragonite without any Chiempao. Still doing a lot of damage, and of course, with the multi-scale, it's a little bulkier.
Entei finished above Dragonite in usage, by the way. Just so you know.
Okay. Never going to live this down.
You're not.
The assault vest on Miraidon. That's the... Oh, God.
I love our little bits. I really do.
Find the episode that this calls back to, and you guys will all get a over the podcast kiss from me.
It's sometime in like late. It's
March,
like either late December.
February.
No, it's like late December, early January. This
You had me flabbergasted when you said that Entei was B tier, and then it went on to win the first tournament of the season.
Yeah. Again, this is closer to like 2-2-2-ish. The Assault Vest on Miraidon, you're really missing the damage output that it's putting out.
That's what you have Chi-Yu.
Well, you do have the Chi-Yu, and you do have the ability to switch moves. It's a little bulkier, but you don't have that like nuke right there that really makes Miraidon special. I feel like it's putting a limiter on your sports car. Like, you bought the $120,000 sports car. Go fast in it. And that's like my thing with this team. In general, I'm not a fan of like 2-2-2-ish or Dozo-ish team comps, so not a huge fan of Chen Yu's team. But I do see the merit. Dozo did have a very good weekend. There was another Dozo that did, like, I believe that there was at least one more Dozo team that did cut Worlds. But it wasn't like this Miraidon team. Next up in 7th place, Navi Joshi, the #1 North American player representing our neighbors up north in Canada. Another Calyrex Ice team with Landorus, this time the classic Life Orb Sheer Force. Terra Normal on the Urshifu. Jay's favorite Ogerpon, the Cornerstone, which in the matchups, again, that we saw Cornerstone on stream this season, very, very good. Terra Steel on the Farigiraf with Psychic and Goggles instead of the usual Electric Seed because there's no Miraidon. And everyone's little favorite bouncy boy, Reggie Eliki, as the 6th Mon.
I've missed Eliki.
Eliki's back.
I've missed it. It's sad to think that I would miss Reggie Eliki one of these days.
Well, they nerfed it to high hell to the point where it's actually a fair Pokemon to use.
Okay, so
I think without Dynamax, it's like...
When do we get that for Urshifu, then?
Never, because he costs $90.
I mean, Eliki does too.
Eliki also... Yeah.
Eliki not only costs $90, costs way more of your time.
That's very true.
Ask Sweet about catching his Eliki.
Eliki can't hit through Protect, so I don't think they're gonna nerf Urshifu. Its ability is like built in to be cracked.
I think, like we've said this before on the pod. I do think that if the change that does need to work for Urshifu is they just need to change Unseen Fist to doing 25%
damage
protect
to protect.
Which is like, we know that they can code that in because they literally did that before.
They've done it for the last 2 generations.
Yup. I don't know why it wasn't done.
Does Urshifu get Wave Crash. I just
No,
want
thank goodness.
Yeah, I think the only Pokemon with Wave Crash are Palafindozo, Basculesian, and Tauros Aqua Breed are the only.
I didn't understand half of
ones.
what you just said for half a second. Like the Tauros part was just like breed. Like what?
Tauros Aqua Breed. I can't fucking speak.
Okay, don't forget Quackaball, don't forget Bruxish, Empoleon, and Floatzel.
I knew Floatzel did. The others you just said, I forgot were in the game.
Floatzel's a good time, man.
Wait, Quaquaval gets it?
It does.
Yeah. I did not know that.
Did you all know Aqua Step?
You're normally
is a
running
dance
Aqua
move?
Step.
I did know Aqua Step is a dance move.
Yeah, because we're running next door to Choreo. Get your speed boosts.
Did you all watch that Inkay Games video?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
That was.
If you haven't, if you're listening, you haven't watched it.
Oh my lord! It was one of the most fun matches of my life. Or Choreo was like an all-star.
High key broken in random doubles battles. Just so you guys know.
I could see that. Moxie and Aqua Step gave able to get like a +1/+1 on a kill.
I'm pretty sure
It also has inflated levels because it's not very good.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the nice things offensively with Navi's team is you get that ground, ice, electric coverage along with a really nice speed sandwich. So offensively, you're able to hit really fast in both in and out of Trick Room, and you're able to hit a lot of you're able to cover all of your bases with these 3 offensive typings, which is really, really great and what powered him to a top 8 finish. Rounding out the top 8, we have Yuzhang Wang using a Calm Mind substitute Lefty's Terapagos, which is kind of crazy. Like, this is a Pokemon that we saw do very well with the Specs variant. We saw a few LATAM special events wins with the Lefties variant, but never with substitute Calm Mind. Well, substitute and Calm Mind, and never really at like the big stage have we seen the Lefties Terapagos do super, super well. It's just Terapagos and good stuffs. Fluttermane is amazing speed control with both Icy Wind and Thunder Wave. You have the double fake out option here. It's worth knowing that pretty much everything on the team besides the Incineroar is going with a offensive Terra, the Terra Water and Grass on Urshifu and Rillaboom. Of course, Terapagos has to be Stellar Terra, and then the Stellar on Chien-Pao as well. So you're really locked into your types here. Any other thoughts on the last team of the top 8 before we get into the Carter corner?
Here's the best part. You were running Carter corner this week because you already had all this figured out. You said.
I did not say that. I sent you 2 teams.
And you said, I have Carter Corner figured out.
Okay, there is some cool other stuff, I'm not going to lie, for Carter's Corners, like Klefki, Top Cut.
Let's talk through. Like, there's some interesting things.
27th with Sebastian Escalante. Klefki is there. That's cool.
Yeah, we can go through. Oh, this is a fun team. Yes, Sebastian Escalante with that top 27, I believe. Yeah, 27. Yeah, 20. No,
it was top 32, wasn't it?
No, it's all X2. So he just missed cut. Yeah, it was top. So it ended up being top 24, but still like a win away from cut. Sebastian had a few interesting choices. Going with the Specs variant of Terapagos. And honestly, like, people forget that Klefki is another fairy type Prankstermon with screens and speed control options. That is really, really neat. Being a steel type, it's just steel fairy is one of the best defensive types in the entire game. And then being able to do all that, throwing in the Dazzling Gleam chip, it's a nice little mon to use. A lot of support on this team, like between the Klefki, the Torn and the Smeargle decorate Smeargle as well. Like, there is a ton of support to try to make sure that this Terapagos is doing as much damage as possible. It is like the win con on the team, and with the specs and the ability to turn Terra Starstorm into a multi-targeting move, you can just get those decorates off to get to the +2, +4, and pick up KOs that way. Try to finish the game in like 2 or 3 turns.
Yeah, you also have Quick Guard on it, which, like, these specs Terapagos are really weak to priority, to fake out. Now you can just Quick Guard and stop that. So I think that's really, really cool. This team's neat.
Yeah. A few other teams to note. I'm just going through right here.
I want to just give a shout out to my friends who went 5-3, Ibrahim Maroof and AJ Testerman. Ib ended up losing his winning in, which is really tough for day 2.
One moment. I need to give me a second.
Yeah, he had a really good weekend, and AJ was playing. They got their 3rd loss pretty early on. Ib is 113th.
Okay,
with like a really cool Zacian Reggie Drago team.
Mm-hmm.
And then AJ used a Electabuzz Calyrex Ice team because they were the main component of like that Electabuzz team that was running around earlier on.
What place?
I think it's somewhere in the 200s. Let me look.
Yeah, so we have Ibrahim's team up here.
238 for the other
238. We'll go throw up. Give me a second.
Because they have a Araquanid too, which is awesome.
Hell yeah.
We'll go throw up AJ's team. But yeah, Ibrahim's team right here. Again, the Urshifu, Zacian stuff. I've seen a lot of people who are running Zacian picked it up with the Reggie Drago. You get that fantasy core between the 2 Mons, being able to do this spread damage with the having a spread damage option with the Reggie Drago complements the single target ability of the Zacian. Which I think is really great. And then you're also throwing in your terrain control with both Rillaboom and Indeedee. And then, of course, Torn and Ursh are just Torn and Ursh. I really like AJ's team. To be quite like, so this team right here looks to be an update to the team that all the Tub Takes players took to NAIC. Which, as you said, AJ was one of the people who was really pushing the Follow Me Electabuzz as an option for a Trick Room Redirector, throwing in the Farigiraf, Ursaluna, Smeargle, Triple Normal, the Calyrex, of course, doing a ton of damage, and honestly, Araquanid, with the Wide Guard, the bulk, like, Araquanid's really, really good in the Trick Room Mirrors against the Calyrex. Calyrex kind of can't do anything into Araquanid.
Yeah, also, like, this team has a very obvious issue with Urshifu, and Araquanid plus Electabuzz really do a good job to kind of control that matchup a little bit better. So,
yeah, no, this is one of the so at least like this 4 here, the Araquanid, Blood Moon, Farigiraf, Electabuzz. It's something that I've even thought of trying to like put together for Regulation H. I think it's a really, really strong way to play a harder Trick Room mode. I think that Electabuzz especially has a lot more room to grow, not only for Regulation G but Regulation H. And of course, with Blood Moon, this is just one of the best powerhouses in the format, and it ebbs and flows with these higher power formats on its usage. I wouldn't be shocked that when the format returns, it is back. So I'd like to also go and shout out a couple people as well on my end. A few friends, sadly, who didn't do as well. One moment.
Shout out Jacob Littner.
I was going to say, yes, Jacob, once I can sort the team.
He used the power of friendship to play in his Worlds tournament. So,
yeah, so shout out Jacob. this was a team that they ended up running. Ended up going with a Terrifier Calyrex with just a ton of good stuffs. The Balance Core with Double Grass. The Raging Bolt with Booster Energy and Terra Electric does so much damage. It's honestly, in some matchups, even more threatening than the Calyrex Ice. In their first Worlds, Jacob stuck it out, got knocked out a little early, but stayed in to get that 3 and 5. Also, a couple other shout outs. Other people who I've had guested on the Littleroot record, Zachary Weed in his first Worlds, also bringing Zacian with Iron Jugulus, the support Volcarona, Stellar Champao, Rillaboom, and Urshifu. Again, another really strong team that, like the Iron Jugulus specifically, a non-tauntable Tailwind user is really, really great. And that Snarl spam into the CSR matchup is also super powerful, forcing Calyrex to either eat the Snarl, which it's going to go down to, or at least lose well over half of the HP, or go into the Terra Fairy and then immediately die to a Behemoth Blade. Create some nice, fun games there. We then have Chase Mateo, who is also on the pod. Chase running a Rain team. This has been a team that he's been running pretty much the entire format. Just classic Torn Ogre stuff.
Hydro Pump Kyogre.
Hell yeah.
So Chase made a decision to not lose to wide guard teams. Honestly, the Hydro Pump Kyogre is really, really good because you're able to... I mean, you're already playing the lottery with Origin Pulse, and to just have a button to click into these wide guard teams is really important.
Welcome back, Iron Bundle.
Yeah. but like, if Iron Bundle, had Water Spout. And then finally, so many friends of mine were here. New England sent 12 players, but specifically highlighting the players who were on the record. Finally, Stefan Mott, who, again, struggled in day one. We got everyone there. It was a little tough getting everyone through the day, but going with Calyrex Ice with the Terra Normal, Grassy Seed, Goldango, Grimmsnarl, Rillaboom, Life Orb, Raging Bolt, and Urshifu. The Grassy Seed Goldango is a little New England tech. Sam Pletcher, who finished 35th at NAIC, used Grassy Seed Goldango on his Koraidon team, and I believe he finished 196. Still switching over to the lefties, Goldango. He was in a position at 5-2 and then lost the win-in, sadly. Bringing Brute Bonnet to the stage as well. Between Brute Bonnet at World, Sandy Shocks at NAIC, Sam is really, really diving deep into the bag of underused past Paradox mods.
I played Brute Bonnet in Knoxville. It was not good. That's the takeaway I had from Brute Bonnet.
Yeah, finally there was let's end this off with the teams that made everyone's day. That were popping up on everyone's Twitters post day one. Matoki Agano using a Sableye Fluttermane, so Sableye with Gravity Skill Swap, Life Orb Groudon, Hex Fluttermane, and that is an Altaria with Sing.
Well, yeah, it partners well with your Gravity Sableye, obviously.
And then you get to skill swap Prankster onto it and start clicking Priority Sing.
Yeah, I don't understand what you don't understand here.
I know, I understand.
So then why are you questioning it?
I'm not questioning it. I'm
like
just saying I am questioning.
So you admit you were lying then?
No, okay. So the question is, what?
Just knocked everything over.
I thought it was Angelo dropping stuff.
No,
that was
I have
me.
nothing in my hand. No, my question is how deep in your bag do you have to go to come up with this?
Well, I mean, Altaria shuts down weather, so it's good into the weather.
But you have
teams.
weather. Honestly, does Groudon really care about the
No,
weather
absolutely
outside
not.
of turning off its water weakness? No. Okay, so yeah, like,
And like
I'm
Altaria has like a deceptively good typing.
it's very
into
good.
anything that's not ice typing, like you're extremely bulky into. Altaria's bulk to begin with is really solid, and then you use that Terra Water and you get just like a better defensive type when you need it. And now you're clicking Prankster Sing with an improved accuracy. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Hey, you know what? Safety goggles doesn't stop. Sing.
Yeah, this is what Carter wished he had when he was running Hypnosis Executor.
Hey, it worked, didn't it? No, it did not.
No.
Like, not
No,
even
it
a single
didn't.
time, I don't think. I don't think I can remember a single
I
time.
don't want to talk about it. Let's make fun of Angelo more.
No.
Carter is still haunted by my safety goggles Heliolisk.
And the final thing we're going to be covering is Daniel Walker's take on a Scarf Kyogre team with a lot of interesting techs. Baxcalibur is not a Pokemon we've really seen in Regulation G. Going with a Sword Stance, Scale Shot, Icicle Spear, Loaded Dice variant. We do see the Smeargle with Shed Tail, also called Orthworm at Home. Indeedee for redirection, and the last two spots are where the real heat comes.
This team is wild.
We're going to save this. We're going to save
Shed
the
Tail Smeargle is not the real heat. I didn't even notice this until right now.
Yeah, so it's Shed Tail there. Physical Galarian Wheezing, Terra Normal. Again, love these Terra Normals to try to stop the CSR.
Explosion.
Yep, Terra Normal
I seriously hope we're
Explosion.
max attack on this thing.
Oh my
You
gosh.
probably are, because you're also Gunk Shot, Play Rough, Assurance. Honestly, the Assurance next to the Scarf Water Spouts or Scarf Origin Pulses probably does a lot of damage. Also, we have a Size Spam mode. No, it's not the one you're thinking of. Slowking Size Spam with Life Orb. What is this?
I love all my homies hit the crack pipe before they play Pokemon. This shit, this is awesome.
There is a... Want me to tell you the craziest thing that I'm going through and realizing? There is one Protect on this entire team.
You only need one.
We already talked about one Protect teams. It's fine.
Yeah, but this isn't what I would have expected it on. But also, I didn't expect Slowking. What's crazier is that Daniel, like... I don't know if he lost his... I don't know if it was what his... Actually, we can look and see here. Yes, so Daniel was in position to, for a win-in, and he was in position to cut round 11 and lost to eventual top 4 finisher Song Jae-jong. When you do look at this team, one of the things you think of is, wow, a really good Miraidon player probably runs through this, and that's what ended up happening. With that being said, Song Jae-jong was the only Miraidon he lost to all weekend. Going into round 11, he was 3-0 against Miraidon team.
Insane.
Which is nuts. And those teams, what was it? Just looking at the 6, he beat the same exact 6 that Song Jae-jong ended up finishing top 4 with. And then he also had 2 wins, one of them on day 2, against the same 6 that Luca won with. So, the Hands Miraidon Pick an Urshifu variant. So this is just absolutely nutty. This is someone who probably has had this in his back pocket since, April, and has just been tweaking and practicing with it for so long that he just knew all of his calcs. He knew every single line. There was nothing you could do to probably surprise Daniel Walker.
Okay, did he have this team or a crack pipe in his back pocket? Somebody tell me.
Probably both.
Yeah, definitely.
You have
Honestly,
2 back pockets.
definitely both.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, no, some pants, they button one of the pockets, and then...
We're not a
The only thing
fashion
I'm not,
podcast, Angelo.
The only
We
thing
can't-
I'm not thrilled about is the 3 water, 1 electric Kyogre. I feel like Ice Beam on Kyogre here would have done quite a bit.
Yeah, I do like, again, Hydro Pump. We're honestly all going to go to Gamblers Anonymous after this, for various reasons. But yeah, having the hydro pump there, again, it's just to make sure that you don't get wide guarded or locked into an endgame where you have to click a water type move and your water type moves don't work because they can just keep clicking wide guard in front of you. So yeah, that is pretty much our Worlds coverage. We went through some of the fun teams. We went through the top 8. We shouted out friends of the pod, people who we all love. And with that, any final thoughts on the weekend?
Go play PokeClicker.
What is PokeClicker?
It's a Pokemon clicker game. That's it.
What is a clicker game?
You click the screen and it gives you stuff.
Okay, yeah, no, we're definitely going to gamble.
It's an idol. It's like an idler game.
Let's not play that game, everyone.
No,
okay,
I can share my screen so y'all can watch.
You guys can go and play good games like Elden Ring. And
literally anything else. Play rock paper scissors. Is this what you've been doing all day?
Yeah. And see, then you come down here and hatch your eggs.
With that, thank you so much for watching, everyone.
Actually, wait. We did miss one thing. And it's very, we did have to wait through all of the other game announcements to find out that there are no video game announcements, no Legends Zygarde, no VGC announcements. Can you stop sharing that?
Turn this off. Get out of here.
The only big announcements that go with VGC are the locations of both 2025 and 2026 Worlds. 2025 is going to be in Anaheim, while 2026 will be in San Francisco.
And, I mean, those are basically the same city, so...
Congrats, California players. You guys have nothing to do to get to Worlds, so go play.
So...
Yeah.
Okay, if you can afford to live in California, you can afford to travel to events.
The cost of living is ridiculous.
I feel sorry for California players.
Yeah. While I was disappointed because the plan was use work to expense a trip to Nashville, I could also use work to expense a trip to Los Angeles. So keep putting them in music cities, and I won't have to pay for flights. Now you can go.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Let us know down below what other teams you found that were very interesting. And let us know why Carter is the most annoying guy on this podcast. I cannot stand this man sometimes. Come join the Discord and hang out with us and tell Carter why PokeClicker is a terrible game and why he should never play games on podcast ever again. Make sure you check out the Patreon and community Discords and also the Twitter at LR Lessons. And yeah, with that's been the episode. This has been one of our, I think, most unhinged for the most professional version of Pokemon that you can possibly play. This has been, truly. And with that, we will see you all next week. Peace out.
Bye, everyone.